with a potential class action lawsuit coming WWE's way and more. This is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for June 21st. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. As Paige is set to leave WWE soon, it has already been announced that she will be returning to her family's promotion. Now, Starrcast has said that she will be at their event next month for a stage show called Turning the Page. With her hinting at being able to compete once again, it'll be interesting to see what happens next. WWE has not officially confirmed this, but it has been reported that Sasha Banks was released following her walkout on Raw last month. While many think she should go to AEW, Booker T said this about that possibility on his Hall of Fame podcast. As far as Tony Khan making that phone call quick to sign Banks, but I don't know if that's the place for Sasha Banks. I'm really not sure if AEW is the place for Sasha. The reason I say that AEW may not be the place for Sasha, let me just put a bow on that. After Sasha goes and works Britt Baker, where does she go from there? I'm not throwing any shade on Thunder Rosa, Nyla Rose, or any of those other girls. On the DDP Snake Pit podcast, Diamond Dallas Page revealed who he thinks are the 4 greatest in-ring workers of pro wrestling, saying my first is going to be Jake Roberts. Next guy is definitely going to be Ric Flair. Rick made me want to watch wrestling after Jake pulled me back in. Shawn Michaels, he's the first guy to break that under 6 foot thing and be able to be like Randy Savage was. Eddie Guerrero, I think as far as the working in the ring, goes back to me doing stuff for AAA in Mexico with me and Jake. He was an amazing talent then, and he only got better. After Riddle came up short against Omos in a qualifying match for Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins attacked the original Bro. This could mean a match between the two is set for Summerslam. As Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio, I don't think he was going to win, but I didn't think that it was going to be Tree Slam, then another Tree Slam, and then Rollins would lay him out. And obviously the idea is, with Cody out, Rollins, the top heel in the brand, is probably going to be doing a program with Riddle, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's why I said, like the curb stomp thing by Seth, that didn't bother me. Everything with Omos was ridiculous, but Rollins is in Money in the Bank, so he's not going to be wrestling Riddle on this pay-per-view anyway, so I guess it's to start a feud for SummerSlam. You'd think you would get through the pay-per-view with Rollins doing angles with people that are in the Money in the Bank match. With Rhea Ripley said to not be medically clear to compete at Money in the Bank, Meltzer would give a couple of guesses as to what's going on and when she could be back. I don't know what the situation is. I'm hoping to find out, but I've asked around and nobody seemed to know what the exact thing is. The usual suspects when they don't say something is COVID or a concussion, and in both cases, you would most likely be back by July 2nd. COVID, very likely back. Concussion, it varies and everything like that, but you wouldn't adamantly say they won't be back. It could be a knee injury or something like that, but yeah, no details of anything at this moment. Probably will come out tomorrow, I'm going to guess, but yeah, not ready on July the 2nd. Bianca Belair pretty much talked about that I will give her a championship match when she comes back, whenever that will be, whether it's July the 30th, whether it's a period later. Talking to Sports Illustrated about a time he swore in WWE, D'Lo Brown also revealed how his infamous headshake came to be. Back in '97, portable DVD players were just starting to come out. You'd have sleeves of DVDs kind of like you'd have sleeves of CDs. The movie Friday was part of the regular rotation on our road trips. The Rock and I finished a match on a Sunday, and we were back at the hotel watching Friday, and there's a scene where Debo knocks out a guy and Chris Tucker yells, "You just got knocked the F out." The next night at Raw, we're getting ready to go to commercial break, and the spot is that Rock Rocky is going to clothesline Ken Shamrock out of the ring and onto the floor, and then we'd go to the commercial. But I knew if I had those 30 seconds, I was stealing it. So when Ken was knocked out of the ring, I ran up to the ropes and screamed, "You just got knocked the F out," and I'm shaking my head. That's when it dawned on me that I'd swore on TV. I figured Vince McMahon was going to be furious. Vince had two looks. One was when he looked at you and gave a thumbs up, that was good. The other was when he looked up, pulled his glasses down and waved a finger over to him. That's what I got that night. And he looked at me and said, "That thing you're doing with your head, keep doing it." So I didn't get fined for swearing, and I did something that piqued Vince's curiosity. Then I turned the volume up on the head shake, and people still tell me stories to this day about doing it in the hallway or to their mom. It's incredible. With it previously announced that The Undertaker would be getting his own show on Peacock, The Godfather revealed on the A to the K show that Undertaker has his own podcast. I don't know when they're going to release it, but he has his own podcast where he's already shot a bunch of episodes, and I am the second episode. It's me and him. When it comes to who came up with the idea for the live sex celebration between Edge and Lita on Raw after the Rated R superstar became the WWE champion, former WWE writer Christopher DeJoseph revealed on Briscoe and Bradshaw, Edge had just won the title from John Cena and cashed in the Money in the Bank. We were in a meeting with Vince, and he said, "Well, what would you do if you won the title in your Edge?" And I said I would have sex with my girlfriend in the middle of the ring for everybody to see. So that's kind of how that live celebration thing happened. With Edge recently kicked out of his Judgment Day stable, he's expected to be a babyface going forward. With Adam Cole injured and said to be out of action, Booker T previously stated that Cole could use some more muscle and doesn't need to lose any more while he's out. This led to Hangman Page and Renee Paquette seemingly responding. "I just hope that when I'm old and retired I don't lower myself to some podcast where I trash the younger generation that's just chasing the same fortune wrestling has afforded me. Body shaming is the absolute shit. WTF is happening right now. Totally thought we were moving past talking about people like this. While the focus is normally on women, I've had many men talk to me about body dysmorphia, piss up a rope." Booker T would address this, reiterating that he likes Adam Cole and has nothing against him. As Fightful reported that John Laurinaitis has been placed on administrative leave and head of creative Bruce Prichard has taken on the role of interim head of talent relations, it has been said some talents are making their feelings known. Another said that they'd had multiple texts from talent stating that there is concern about Bruce handling both roles, because now if you want time off, you have to ask the person who effectively is your filter between creative and Vince McMahon. Of course, Laurinaitis had been named in the investigation for the Vince McMahon hush money scandal. With Vince McMahon previously settling a lawsuit with former XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck, Dave Meltzer explained how the recent hush money scandal coming to light played a factor in this. "I think that it's pretty clear that even though with all the stuff on Vince's plate, that probably going through a trial right now was probably the worst thing possible, because it would bring a lot of coverage on every little thing, and is also a trial that nearly everybody thought he was going to lose, so it would be a big public loss. That is probably a way, as far as the publicity goes, to cut that loss, and from Oliver Luck's standpoint, it's probably best, the amount of money that he got will be sealed and all the terms are going to be sealed. But if it's like close to what he was asking for, which is $24.1 million, then it makes sense to get it now. There is always the chance that he doesn't win the case, however slim that would be, and even if Vince McMahon would have lost the case, they would have filed for an appeal, and this case would go on forever. And this way he gets the money right now without having to go through that appeals process, because they would appeal it based on some of the rulings by Judge Victor Bolden, that threw out a lot of Vince's proposed defenses, or the reasons that he fired Luck, which, Bolden threw out all of them, but one is being not having any merit whatsoever. Obviously, the timing of it makes all the sense in the world, in the sense that, okay, this is not the time to have Vince go to court and, have another set of things come out on Vince. Whatever might come out in that case, and at the end, most likely a loss, this is probably from a Vince standpoint, it makes the most sense to settle. Before this happened, it was pretty adamant both sides weren't going to settle, but maybe right before the thing went to trial, maybe they would have settled at the end anyway, rather than go to court. So the case is closed. That's pretty much it for the case. The Observer would also note that Vince McMahon is still calling the shots in WWE, given Bruce Prichard was named interim head of talent relations. Another thing about Bruce being the one in this position pretty much tells me that Stephanie's a figurehead as opposed to, and it's Vince making these decisions, as far as putting Bruce in that position, as opposed to hiring someone or putting someone else in that spot or whatever. That would be a surprise for, like, Nick Khan? Wouldn't that be a surprise? No? As WWE stocks went down 3% on the day the news of the McMahon scandal broke, many law firms are looking for investors who lost money that day. Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics noted that at least 5 law firms have put out press releases on BusinessWire.com regarding this. While they are only determining the legal grounds for a case, this could lead to a class action lawsuit against WWE. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.